Oh, then I never cried. I was only
Yeah,
crying because
okay.
I was only crying because there was not enough Coke Zero at catering. Okay.
Okay, or moon cakes for that
Or another
matter.
moon cakes. Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes.
Yeah, next time you cry while voicing a character, maybe not put it in the press notes because you know you'll get asked about it. I love Ken Jeong, and he does a great job as a Lunarian named Gobi in Over the Moon. Thank you for clicking on this YouTube video with the cast. Had a chance to talk to everybody from Glenn Keane, whose father, by the way, did this for me years ago. They lived here in Arizona, and I was so fortunate to get to meet Bill Keane of Family Circus, and it was so fun to get to show this to Glenn Keane, his son. And another former Arizona resident, Kimiko Glenn, a Valley Youth Theater grad. This place, by the way, in Arizona has produced some great talent. Jordan Sparks, Emma Stone. Bob Cooper, the head of Valley Youth Theater, of course, had to give Kimiko a shout out, which I shared during our interview. I hope you enjoy.
Great. Bob Cooper, Kamiko says hi from Valley Youth Theater.
Of course he does. Love Bob.
Phillipa, I'm going to start with you, though, if you don't mind. You play this character, this legend of a character. Is there a legend passed down to you from your ancestors, your parents, your grandparents?
Oh my gosh. Well, I heard a lot of stories about my own family history growing up. I'm biracial. I have a mother who's Caucasian and a dad who's Chinese. So getting to hear all of the stories in which, I ended up where I am here now was always so great to me. And it did feel like a myth in a way because it was an epic journey that so many people took, so many hardships that were worked through, so many dreams and aspirations that got me to exist in this world. So I always loved hearing those stories.
Kamiko, how about you? Is there something passed down from your parents? A story that they used to tell you growing up that stayed with you?
I mean, in terms of Japanese stories, one that stuck with me was there was this thunder god that would steal your belly button during thunderstorms. And that always horrified me. Scared me more than anything. Now I know it's not true. Well, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, just double check, make sure I've got mine as well.
Yeah.
Fei Fei just wants things to go back to the way they were. And obviously, what a crazy time. We all wish things could kind of go back to the way they were. But Kamiko, when it comes to Arizona, what do you miss most?
Gosh, I mean, just, the desert is so beautiful. Thankfully, I'm in California, so I get to kind of experience that too. But one thing that I think Arizona has hands down more than any place is the sunsets. The Arizona sunsets, beautiful. I mean, all the colors, it's just gorgeous.
Phillipa, have you been there? Have you been to Arizona?
I have not been to Arizona. I feel like I need to go there. I want to see the sunsets.
I had the pleasure of talking to you with the original Hamilton cast a few months ago, and you've obviously spoken and sang some of the greatest lyrics known to man. When you're singing things that include words like gyro navigation and thrusters, I mean, it's kind of this whole cool modern take. What was that like?
Fei Fei's amazing song, Rocket to the Moon.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorite songs in the film. To see the progression of this young girl's idea that she's gonna get to the moon, and she like makes it happen, and we get to see it all play out before our eyes. But as far as Chang'e's songs, what's so great is I got to do so many different kinds of singing, and I get to rap as well. So stylistically speaking, I really got to stretch my actor skills and explore very different styles throughout this film.
Speaking of styles, I know that it's an animated film, but some of the coolest outfits I think were worn by your character. That kimono is off the charts.
Oh, it's a beautiful dress. The costumes were designed by this Chinese designer named Pei, and I learned maybe, oh gosh, quite a bit into the process, I learned that she was going to be designing these costumes. And, you know, I obviously like went online right away and was like looking at her work, and it just sort of dropped in. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see what designer can imagine.
Yeah, they're just beautiful. I know they just wrapped me, but quickly, Kimiko, she needs to take a photo when she gets up to the moon just to prove that this took place. In your career, what's that one photo that you just had to take because you had to prove that this meeting took place?
Oh my gosh. You know, I've met some cool people in my day, but I always feel a bit hesitant to ask about
Yep.
it. But the one I'm probably the most proud of that I didn't take, but someone else did, was me at the SAG Awards with the SAG Award in my hand talking to Meryl Streep.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably the coolest. I mean, I think I was making my boyfriend hold it most of the night, and then as soon as I saw her, I was like, "Give me that!" I was like, "Give me the award! I have to go up with it." It gave me some legitimacy, and I was like feeling so cool about it, and I was so happy that photo exists.
Well, congrats to the person who took it, because I have a lot of friends who miss those opportunities, and I'm like, I can't believe you didn't snap that photo. Ken, I have to start with you. Is it true that you cried while voicing your character, Gobi?
Yeah, I was filming. I was recording a scene, an emotional scene, with my character with the main character, Fei Fei, brilliantly portrayed by Cathy Ang, and something in that scene just really just got to me and hit me deep, and I just started crying, and it was it was just it just showed kind of the magic that's in this movie and developing it, and we knew all along that we were making something really special, and I think that that moment kind of behind the scenes kind of exemplified that.
Next time, maybe don't tell people because it's in the press notes. So I'm sure you'll get asked about.
Oh, then I never cried. I was only crying because there was not enough Coke Zero at catering. Okay.
Okay, or moon cakes for that
Or
matter.
another moon cakes. Yes, yes, yes.
You know
yes.
what though? It's so true, Margaret. This really is an emotional film. It brings you back to your childhood. It reminds you of the things that have been passed on from our ancestors. I didn't know much about the Moon Lady. Did you have kind of a fable that your parents or grandparents kind of passed along to you?
Well, I think that we had a version of Chang'e, the sort of the moon goddess, but there's always these kinds of old stories that get passed down from generation to generation. There's so many different ones, and
Right.
you know, just like there's so many different kinds of holidays that we have. Koreans have a similar holiday from the Mid-Autumn Festival, which is actually just passed. It's was Chuseok,
Right.
so it's our Thanksgiving. So we give spam. That's our turkey is spam. And so, and it's very delicious. And so we have like big spam gift boxes that you give for holidays. That's actually started with the Americans stationed over in Korea. So they would get
Of course.
rations of like tinned meat, which is spam. And so they would trade it with people living outside of the bases. And it was such a sort of specific thing that it was like very special. And they would make this stew, and they call it budae-jjigae, which is like the specialty. And so I'm a Korean chef, so I know all these things. And so my dad has a very like specific recipe that they would make it, and they would put condoms in it. But don't put those in because it doesn't taste good. I tried it. It's not good.
You know, Fei Fei goes up to the moon and she has to have a photo that kind of shows people that maybe this happened. Let me take a photo to prove that this exists, that this happens, it's real. In your lives, is there a photo that means the most to you? Something that you had to take to prove this took place, this happened?
Photos, pictures, or it didn't happen. Pics, or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I have a pretty good photo with Chow Yun-fat. That's a pretty
Really?
good one. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. He's a big Chinese movie star, big Hong Kong movie star. So that's pretty good. That's from, and it was an actual like photo. I think it's not even a Polaroid.
Wow.
It's an actual like click and shoot photo,
Right.
point and shoot photo.
Wow.
That's great. How about you, Ken? Do you have one that just means a lot to you? Is it kind of proof that this took place?
You know, I remember like the first time my family and I went to actually, because I was born in the States, when we went to Korea, and because I grew up in North Carolina, and I was born in Michigan, grew up in North Carolina. And so my first time going to Korea when I was, I think 13 or 14, and just taking photos everywhere. And me, I was that kid, like, like, I don't like taking photos, waiting around. But going to Korea was life changing, and I wanted to soak in, and remember it. So I found myself just being very patient and wanting to take even more photos, which is kind of not me at all usually. So I remember
Right.
that was very, it's still to this day, I remember it vividly.
Have you taken your family back?
We were planning actually to go to Asia earlier this spring, but definitely want to do that in the future. Absolutely.
Great. I apologize. I'm actually in a hotel room in Boston currently, so it's kind of a lame background. Yours is much nicer, and I love the over the moon. I tried to get. Have you heard about the moon cake thing that Netflix sent us?
It's inside that box.
Okay, they're sold out of it now because I forgot to bring mine with me. It's the coolest gift I've ever received on a junket. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
There's so many cool stories surrounding you. Obviously, the fact that you weren't initially supposed to star in this thing. You were kind of hired to sing a demo, and then all of a sudden you get the lead part. But the one that I loved the most, is it true that your boyfriend is studying to be an astronaut?
Yes, it is.
Come on, what are the odds?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing. So, like, we love space and space exploration, and now I actually get to say that I have gone to the moon first. So,
and dressed the part too, I might add. You dressed perfectly for the moon.
Yes.
Your character just wants things to go back to the way they were, and obviously we are in such a crazy time where we all sort of miss the way things used to be. What do you miss most? What do you wish you could kind of rewind and go back to?
Just feeling like I could, look at strangers and just feel like I can like watch people and see them being free and joyful around them. I mean, I just miss connecting with people. It's hard being kind of isolated for so long. But this story is also, it's about connection. And I think it's amazing that it's coming out right now because the whole world is craving that. Yeah, it's about these two women who have experienced loss, and I think everyone can relate in some way. And they come together and heal through love and find joy together. So I hope that this feels like a little slice of life before. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it really does. It's funny that you said that because I thought about that even watching. I mean, it's so beautifully done in the animation and where she lives and the family dinners where you're passing around the food. I don't know what dinners are like in your household, but are they that crazy? Are they that gregarious?
Oh, not always, but for the holidays, oh yeah. I mean, I think every culture in the world like gathers around a table full of food and stuffs themselves until they're happy. And so I grew up eating a lot of Chinese and Filipino food, and we would try and go out to dim sum and be around a lazy Susan. So I felt like, that's my family.
And was the moon pie your go-to? What was your favorite thing of choice?
I mean, moon cakes during the Mid-Autumn Festival, during the, that was common. But my favorite dessert-wise is actually black sesame balls. And it's basically just sugar. It's like you're just eating sugar. And I wanted sugar, and I still eat sugar pretty much.
Out of all the sweets that I've had, I don't think I've ever tried those. I need to try those now.
I mean, just eat some sugar, and that's what it is.
I love the part she goes up there and she wants to try to figure out if this moon lady, this moon goddess exists, and she needs a photo to prove to people that this moment happened, something to bring back that's tangible. In your lifetime, what's that one photo that really is special where you're so glad you took it or someone took it because just to prove that this happened, this meeting happened?
I mean, well, actually, when I was when I was recording the demos, I mean, I didn't know that I was gonna be able to do the movie. So Phillipa was in the studio that day, and I took a photo with Phillipa, and like I was almost crying in that photo because I was so happy. She's amazing, and I've always looked up to her. So that was cool. And then now we take photos all the time. So
well, you'll be thrilled to know that she raved about you as well, and you have just such a beautiful voice. Congratulations on all of this. I can't wait for everybody else to see it too. So I'm just so happy for you.